Go bananas. Sean Spicer. Sean, great to see you this morning. It's not often we meet this early in the morning. Glad that you could make it. And congratulations on your new book.
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I heard what Rob just said to you. It's amazing that you're so used to saying good evening, Jen. It's nice to have you there in the morning and see. I'm so used to seeing Rob.
You can't come running into my office to scare me. I know you're sad about that today, but you know we always have next week for that. I want to ask you before we get to your book. Let's talk a little bit about your old boss there. Big visit yesterday. Certainly welcomed by the people of Ohio. What are your thoughts on his visit and the impact it had there, especially as you know the Biden administration has been absent up until now this morning, Buttigieg showing up there?
Yeah, it's a great question, Jen. I think we have to separate two things. One, the pain that the people of East Palestine and that region are going through and the politics of it. And I want to focus on the politics, if I can, for a moment, just because I think that's what, you know, most of the people are talking about. And the contrast that President Trump illustrated yesterday with President Biden was astronomical. When you had President Trump showing up there with water and cleaning supplies and other things, doing the job of what a president and administration would do 20 days after this horrific event. You've got Pete Buttigieg, who the night before said, I'll go when the time is right. President Biden calling Governor Mike DeWine, the Ohio governor, 20 days from Ukraine. It didn't look good. It looked fantastic for President Trump. And I know you played that clip from a news reporter on CNN just a moment ago. And I'll tell you, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Politics is perception. The perception yesterday was that President Trump cares, that President Trump hadn't forgotten those people, and they're not going to forget that. And frankly, it's not just the people of East Palestine and the nearby region, but frankly, for the rest of the country and the rest of the world, they saw a former president doing the job of what a current president should be doing.
So, Sean, what will the perception today be of Pete Buttigieg's visit? He's there on the ground right now in East Palestine.
Well, I think you guys talked about it a moment ago. Pete Buttigieg is going to do the best he can to blame the Trump administration, number one. Number two, we've had people on our show every night at 5 o'clock talking about how upset they were. I will be very interested in the reception that Pete Buttigieg gets, because I think there's a lot of folks that think it's a little too late for him to be showing up now.
Yeah, I think certainly that is the case. Folks not too happy with this administration. Pete Buttigieg showing up, I think, based on the pressure, just like we saw them go down to the border after all the years of pressure, go down to the border. They went and saw a sanitized version. Here you have Pete Buttigieg, and it really just feels like a photo op compared to President Trump, who made it very personal in visiting those people, and I think that goes a long way.
Yeah.
But let's talk. Go ahead.
For us, it was kind of cool. As you guys both know, I posted it on Twitter this morning. I got a text yesterday as they were leaving East Palestine saying, hey, we're watching Spicer and Company. We're watching you and Lindsay on Trump Force One as we're leaving. So it was great because not only did they go, but Newsmax was one of the only organizations that covered it. And then you had the president and his team watching our coverage of it on the way out. So that was a really cool thing.
That's pretty great. At Fox, they are just running as fast as they can away from Donald Trump, and I'm not sure that that's a wise move. The media made this mistake in 2016. You ignore Donald Trump at your own peril. He is a presidential candidate. Right. That was newsworthy yesterday. It doesn't matter where you are.
Made the mistake in 2020 as well. Yeah. So a lot of people coming over here who have stayed with Newsmax. Sean, I want to ask you before we run out of time here, but Brave Books, you're working with them. You're the author of the month. New children's book, Parrots Go Bananas.
The Parrots.
The Parrots.
The
Parrots. The
right?
Parrots.
Yes.
So tell us about the book, Sean.
Yeah, so it's a children's book. It's available at spicerbook.com. It's a subscription book, as you put it, to Brave. It's a children's book. So if you're 4 to 8 years old, maybe a parent can read it to you. If you're 9 to 12, like where my kids are, they can read it themselves. It's got great illustrations. It warns of the dangers of fake news and narratives. It's a great family, patriotic, Christian-type book in the narrative that Brave Books puts out every month, and I'm honored to partner with them this month to really talk about what fake news does. And it's, if you read the book, we have these two characters, and we don't mention news or the media, but you get the picture, right? These two really good characters are accused of something that they clearly didn't do. They're upstanding individuals in their community, and then they have to kind of clear their name. I was thinking of like an example like Nick Sandman or some of the things that I've been accused of along the way that turned out not to be true. And I think for a lot of kids who go through this, whether they were accused or they watch somebody else be accused, it teaches them don't jump to conclusions, that there's sometimes more to the story than the prevailing headwinds of the left in this case.
And all illustrations done by Sean Spicer himself.
I was just going to say that.
That would not be a good children's book.
I expect story hour when I get back to Washington, Sean.
You'll get it. Story. That's actually. I'm going to write that one down. Story hour with Jen, and then I'm coming to New York. Rob Finnerty and folks. Story hour. I'm going to mark both of those on my list of things to do.
Sounds good. Thanks, Sean.
All right,
Good
great to see you.
See y'all.
And be sure to check Sean Spicer and Lindsay Keith later today. Spicer and Company starts at 5 p.m. Eastern Time.